Okay. Here is what I'm seeing, Riley and Kenny. Okay. So I really like the first turn. I love the entry. Like that one. Let's see if I can pause it. So it's not bad. I think something I was seeing a lot is your left hip. You're still pulling it, I guess, to start early. And you're not letting the ball work left while you're still stable. Um, so stable hips are still forward. Um, your shoulder like this, you're a little rounded forward. Hips could come a little bit forward, shoulders could come a little bit back, but I mean that's nitpicky. But really, I'm seeing is that left foot. Um, so you see how you're really up, like you get up on the toe. Um, it's a little early. So see, you're already starting to kind of pull, and the ball's like just before zero, or maybe even at zero. So then your eyes start to go early. Um, so slowing that timing down, bringing that timing together. Because like I know that ankle coming down is kind of a trigger action for you. Um, so maybe waiting another half second to let that heel come down before it starts that trigger, and push the ball longer rather than pull it. So the whole reason that you do, middle, left, right is to get the ball moving enough so that you can get it out and around and then push it. Where you're kind of pushing it, but then you're starting to pull before it gets to zero. All right. So letting that heat, if you get up to the toe, that's fine. But letting the ball pass zero before the heel comes down. And I think that'll just help the timing a little bit. Cause I mean, like that wasn't terrible. Hands were a little low. This is good. This is a really good position. Shoulders could be back just a tad. Kind of setting that shoulder back, using your body to propel the weight. I think that's something you really need to try to focus on in practice, is using your body and the weight of your body to counter the ball and to move the ball and let the ball accelerate on its own rather than trying to dominate it so much. So I know going from throwing the hammer where you can dominate it to throwing the weight, it's a whole different, you got to relearn how to throw the weight. But not trying to dominate it with your arms, work it with your body is the big thing. So letting, shoulders back, that pendulum, fast through zero. And how you go fast through zero is you got to pull up at zero. Okay, I remember I talked about that. Is pulling up at the lowest point is how you increase the speed. Pulling back with your shoulders at zero. And I think that's going to cause too is to see now your shoulders, because they were a little forward this way, they stay this way. Okay, so that's why you get a little off with 2 and 3, is because you're not letting everything pull this way. Gotta push the ball out here to let it take you forwards. Okay, if you see your shoulders back earlier, if you have your shoulders here, now your shoulders are still here. Your shoulders are here, they stayed there. Okay, and then your hips come up just a little bit, eyes come forward just a little bit. Like this is a really good length, but if you could have your foot like this foot here and then this foot already like in this plane, so having that lower body keep going a little bit faster, but like that's great. That's the exact orbit you want. Arms are long, shoulders, hips are forwards. But now if you can just get that hip kind of turned around just a tad. So remember the 90-270 drill we worked on, where you're standing at 90 and then you work on just shifting your hips to 270, shifting your feet quickly, while keeping your upper body locked at 180. I think that'd be beneficial as like a good warm up. And then, oh geez. Yeah. So I mean, it's not terrible. You're a little tall and you're kind of heavy here. Like you're both heels. Um, you're kind of stopping. Okay, let's see if I can get a better pause on that. So yeah, you might just be lifting um a little early. So see, like if you look at that, your high point would have been out here, like right sector line, rather than middle. Um, so I think that's why this last catch, your feet are like this, is because you set it up that way. The orbit is exactly this. It's the low point would be here, the high point somewhere over here. Okay. So if you can keep pushing that orbit over here, and I know that's something it's difficult to do, it's difficult to think about. By the time you get to that third turn, um, everything's out the door. But you still worked all the way through. You still pushed your hips all the way. Like that's a phenomenal finish considering you landed terribly. Like at this point last year, you'd have caged that 10 times out of 10 and would have got super frustrated. So I think that's just a testament to your work with your mobility and stuff like that. So that's good to know. But yeah, it's hips forward, being a little bit more patient on that entry. Don't bully the ball, use your body, and keep moving that high point in the orbit. And just have people check that with you. Whoever's out shagging for you out in the middle, check your high point. Make that a point of emphasis is that for you, like you specifically, Rialey, your point of emphasis, your high point should be middle. All right. So if you're, throwing on the baseline, it's the scoreboard. Middle. So like Kenny is right sector. You middle. If you keep getting your hips around early and then letting the ball catch up, um, you can create a ton of speed and a ton of tension doing that. And it'll be easy is the best part is like if you can do it correctly, it'll feel easy and it might feel wrong. But if you can get that orbit or the high point correct, yeah, and then keep finishing like that. Like you got the extension, you got the high hands. Hell, if you would have had your foot correctly, you could have even got there even more. And probably thrown another meter further. So that's the stuff to work on. Now for Kenny. Kenny, something I was thinking about was that I liked that one. That was the one I liked. The big thing I was thinking about is you do 4 heels with the hammer. So I don't think it's a good idea to start in the same position if you're only going to do 3 turns with the weight. Because what I think that's going to do is it's just going to screw up everything you did in hammer. It's going to screw up all your tendencies and all your stuff there. And it's going to end up where you're eating up too much of the ring once you go outside and you're going to get frustrated. So something you could do is start about 6 inches off the ring line. I think that's the best option is to do that to just not fuck up your hammer. Because yeah, you throw it like a hammer, you throw it the same way. I don't want you to end up getting used to the 3 turn rhythm with a weight and then go outside in the same size ring and try to do 4. It's going to take you a month to relearn that. So starting, here with your toe, it's going to be a little funky. You could try 4. I don't recommend it, but if you want to keep, because you do 4 turn, you do 4 heels. So it's not like a guy would do a toe and 3 heels. So like doing 3 of the weight makes sense. It's still your 3 heels, but you don't want to mess up that heel rhythm that you have. So I recommend coming a little bit off the ring line just to get started. I like this, but I would like to see you kind of push it more fluidly or fluently, rather than back and then you kind of jerk it this way. Is kind of get a little bit more fluidity to push it around, because then like so that from here to here you did nothing but kind of just drop it, and now you're only pushing from here. Where if you push it back fluidly and then keep it going, now you've got this tension started to work with. This is an okay position. Your hips could be a little bit more forward, your shoulders could be a little bit more further back. um, you're a little bit ahead of the ball, and then you're starting to do the head thing again. You see your eyes are already a little ahead of the ball, and you hold it incredibly well. Like, that's a perfect catch. Like, that's a picture perfect catch. You still, and then the ball is ahead of your eyes. This is great. That's a great fucking zero. But then see your eyes. So you're always playing that like beat it, catch up, beat it, catch up, beat it, catch up game. I really like this. I think what you got to do is you just got to let that head creep back. And I think the issue is because your head is so shoulder to shoulder instead of chest, it's really difficult to push your head back when it's on your shoulder. If you keep your chin neutral, it's really easy to push that chin up and back if it's between your shoulders. Because I think pushing your shoulders back like that, that's what keeps it going. Because those first two turns were really, really good. But then because you're pulling, yeah. Yeah, I think if you're not using SAP, you got to use SAP. Because when breaking that throw down, there wasn't a single position I disliked. And it was strong and it was fast and it was tension. But it just looked like you weren't confident with it. You didn't have the confidence in your grip strength to really, really sit on it and just let it rip. You didn't have the confidence to drive into that left side. So, I mean, you either do a shit ton of grip strength activities or just use SAP. Okay. You're at the point where it will do so much benefit to you every day. Yeah, that was so good. And then you didn't stay on that left side, kind of pulled off it, and you kind of just look scared. Look at the lesser one. So yeah, let's look at the bad one. See what happened there. So yeah, shoulders are still a little bit forward. You're sitting back really well. Like, that's really well. You're on your heels. That's really good. But yeah, you peeked your head. You were a little late. Or a little over getting around. Really big head pull. And then you were over around again. Yeah. So I think on this one, you just tried to beat the ball. You try to dominate the ball, which is, like I told Rialey, it's just something you can't do. You got to work with it. As much as, you're both strong girls and you can just dominate the weight, you gotta use your body. You gotta work with it. Yeah. Biggest thing, Rialey, keep that high point middle. Keep your shoulders back at 0. For Kenny, keep your head neutral. Okay, the whole time. And then push it back at 0. Okay, so both you head back at 0. Keep that energy going into the sector. Kenny, if you don't left right with your head like that, like in the catch, you can still look into the sector like that. I think that's really good. But yeah, don't be so quick to get your head around. push your head back and up instead of left, I think is going to have a huge success. Yeah, and then Rialey, just keep letting the ball. If you keep pushing the ball left, push it left, push it out. Kenny, keep your head neutral and use some damn sap, and the bombs are coming. So that's all I got.